Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Brad with Being Chill. Today we've got an exciting announcement. Xbox just announced that they're going to be releasing a Xbox Series S, which is a cheaper variant of the Xbox Series X, whereas this Xbox Series S is going to be releasing at a price point of only $299 US, especially good compared to the Xbox Series X price of $499 US and the PS5 price with $499 US as well. Now, the release date for these consoles is going to be November 10th, 2020. And one interesting thing we're seeing here that Sony has not done with the PS5 is that Microsoft is now allowing you to buy Xbox All Access, which is $25 a month if you want the Xbox Series S, or $35 a month if you want the Xbox Series X. And this is going to give you Game Pass for free with a monthly payment that allows you to buy these new Xboxes. So this is definitely something unheard of, and we can definitely see Microsoft is trying to increase the early adoption rate of these consoles, because typically in the past, you see the new consoles come out and it takes a year or two before people switch over because the library of games is small, or they just don't have the money right away. This is definitely Xbox stepping up and trying to make these consoles as easy to purchase for people as possible. And I gotta say, even as somebody who's mainly a PC gamer, it's very nice to see them offering this monthly payment with Game Pass included, because it definitely makes it seem like a really great deal, considering most AAA games retail for $60 a month already. And the more people that subscribe to this Game Pass service, the more money Xbox will have to increase its library. So, we can definitely see them doing this in the future, and getting people hooked to pay every month to have access to the games that they like to play. And so this is very interesting play to see from Microsoft. Definitely want to see how this progresses, and if we see Sony with any response to this. Now, Xbox has come out and stated from the beginning they have designed these two consoles in parallel. The Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S have been designed in such a way to make it easy for developers to design for the 4K Xbox Series X console and then downscale their games to 1440p for the Xbox Series S, which should eliminate any gaps where a game is available on one console and not the other, which I'm sure many people would be worried about, especially buying a brand new next generation console that is already less powerful than another console being released. However, with these steps in place, you can be assured that almost all games are going to be available on both of these consoles together. So if we take a look here at some images of the console, you can see it is noticeably smaller. They're estimating about 60% smaller than the Xbox Series X, and it is white instead of black, and it has a black cooler grate on the front of it, similar to a washing machine, as some people are calling it. However, it is important to note that there is no disc tray on this device as the Xbox Series X has, but this device will be all digital, meaning you can only play games that you download digitally or play through some sort of streaming service that Microsoft offers. Now, if we look at some tech specs here, you'll notice that the CPU is the exact same, running at 3.6 gigahertz or 3.4 gigahertz with multi-threading enabled. The main difference between these two consoles is really only going to be the GPU, whereas the Xbox Series X will be targeting native 4K at 60 frames per second, with the possibility of 120 frames per second being enabled by the developers, and the Xbox Series S will be targeting 1440p at 60 frames per second, with the possibility of 120 frames per second being added by developers. Now, they are saying that there is hardware upscaling available, where the Xbox Series S, if plugged into a 4K TV, will use upscaling to make the resolution fit the TV better. However, it will not be the same as the native 4K you will see on the Xbox Series X. Now let's dive directly into the GPU details. If you look at the Xbox Series X, you'll see that it is operating with 12 teraflops and 52 compute units running at 1.825 gigahertz, whereas the Series S has 4 teraflops, 20 compute units, and is operating at 1.55 gigahertz. Now, it has already been shown that both these chipsets will support the latest AMD architecture, which will allow developers to use tools like ray tracing, mesh shaders, and variable rate shaders, which are all important in developing next generation games. Also, we can take a look at the VRAM between these two devices. They are different. You'll see that the Xbox Series X has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM with a 320 megabyte bus. This RAM will operate 10 gigabytes at 560 gigabytes per second and 6 gigabytes at 336 gigabytes per second, whereas the Xbox Series S will contain only 10 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM, and it will only operate at 224 gigabytes per second. Another important thing that we really should take a note of here is that this device is only launching with 512 gigabytes of custom NVMe SSD storage, as opposed to the 1 terabyte custom NVMe SSD storage that will be launching with the Xbox Series X, mainly because this console is all digital, meaning you're going to have to install all the games that you want to play to the device unless you're streaming. However, they are going to allow external storage. Now, we will be seeing Xbox's new Velocity architecture, which is arguably the coolest new thing we're seeing in these next-gen consoles, which will allow for faster loading times, more consistent frame rates when playing games, and the ability to use Xbox's new Quick Resume feature, which will allow you to seamlessly switch between titles without the need for saving. You can simply just hit the home button, go home, change the game that you want to play, and it will load up almost instantly. So this is a really cool new feature to see. You know, the multitasking on the Xbox One was not that great. It was pretty slow and it was unreliable. So it's nice to see that they're bringing this back in full force, and I can't wait to see how it performs in the real world. Now, something else we're seeing Xbox boasting about is what they're calling sampler feedback streaming, which is going to let you render only the textures needed for the current scene in the video game and not have to load all of the textures for the rest of the world and other game data. And this is really big for developers. It's going to allow them to improve their games a lot and not have to rely on just changes made from the improved hardware. They can actually take full advantage of this and gain improved memory efficiency and less use of I/O bandwidth than before, which is going to allow them to, use higher textures than were previously possible, only because they're not going to have to load all of the textures from the rest of the map. And, this could really be big, and we could see some huge changes for games now, and we could see a lot more games that were previously too demanding to run on consoles will be now possible to run on consoles through this new Velociraptor architecture for the custom NVMe SSDs. Now, Xbox is saying that this will increase the I/O bandwidth available and memory efficiency by 2.5 times than was previously possible on the previous gen consoles, aside from the hardware upgrades. So while this is huge, it's also not something unique to Xbox. You've heard the Epic Games CEO and Sony talk about how they're going to use this new technology in the PS5, and this is Xbox just kind of, regurgitating what Sony has already said. While it is not unique to Xbox, it is still cool to see that this will be possible on both the Xbox Series X, Series S, and the PS5. Now, I touched on this before. Developers will be developing for 4K for the Xbox Series X and then downscaling their games to 1440p. And this will allow them to develop for both consoles seamlessly and allow them to make a library of games that is accessible on all of these consoles. And if there's future improvements to these consoles, like we've seen in the past with the Xbox One X, where they improve and make a powerful console in the future that will replace these consoles while not starting the next generation, they've probably already planned ahead and implemented similar features for running games on those consoles while maintaining the backwards compatibility that we are seeing with the new consoles that have yet to release. Well, that just wraps up everything I've got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are excited. I know I am. I'm really excited to see the Xbox Series S launch alongside the Xbox Series X. I'm excited to see how Sony will respond. They don't really have anything, in the works right now, as far as I know, to compete against this $300 price point. And they also are not competing against the monthly payment plan offered with Xbox All Access. So hopefully we'll see Sony officially respond soon, and they will offer a enticing deal similar to what the Xbox is offering. That way people can, really make a good decision and, not just have to choose Xbox because, it's cheaper, easily accessible, or, just get the PS5 because of the exclusives. Hopefully we'll see some more stuff come out that'll really differentiate these two consoles from each other. Once again, thanks for checking me out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Once again, this is Brad from Being Chill. Peace.